just eat, walk around. We took family pictures on the what was it, on the 17th. We took some family pictures, and we have gone to the park, we've drove around. He's had good contact with the kids. It does get a little bit depressing, at the end of the visit, because the children will say and ask, like, oh, when is daddy coming home? Or why does daddy have to leave?
All right, we're going to go on the record. In 2019, CR 8096, State of Texas versus Austin Zachary Mark Gibson. Are you Austin Zachary Mark Gibson?
Yes.
And for the state?
It's act on, Your Honor.
All right, we're here with a request to change conditions to include or amend the conditions for no harmful or injurious contact with Claudia Rushing. All right. And we have a witness here today, and that is Ms. Claudia Rushing. Is that correct?
Yes, Judge.
All right, Ms. Rushing, could you unmute for me, please?
Good morning.
Good morning. Could you raise your right hand for me, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record, please.
My name is Claudia Rushing.
All right, any questions, state?
No questions from the state, Your Honor.
No, Judge.
All right. What is your relationship to Mr. Gibson?
He's the father of my daughter and my boyfriend.
All right. And how long has he been in your life?
Well, before all this happened, he was in my life back in 2017. We split up. We were together for about a year and a half, and then we reconnected back in it was 2020, around that time. And then as you know, last year of October 13th, a situation between me and him happened, and he ended up in jail for that. It was a family violence.
All right. And that was October 13th?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So what was the situation?
So I know he was under the influence of drugs. He came to the house, and I could tell that he wasn't himself. He was claiming some money that was his. And, I told him, hey, that's not for you. That's for, the bills. And he just became more aggravated, and a little bit of violence. And he just grabbed a knife and he pointed it at me, but he didn't hurt me in any kind of way. As soon as I told him that I was going to call the police, he just kind of left the knife on the table and left.
All right. And how many children do you have?
I have 3, but 1 with him.
And what are your children's ages?
The oldest one is 11 and 9, and they were sleeping while this was happening because this was very early in the morning. The only one that was awake was my daughter. Well,
Right.
Our daughter.
So you have 3, 11, 9. What's the age of the other child?
Right now she's 17 months.
And is that his daughter?
Yes.
So are you employed?
Yes.
And I'm assuming you're just asking for contact. He is not to be living with you, correct?
No, I want him to live back with me.
All right. So the court is not going to start with him living back with you. He needs to be in a sober living home. So we're not here for him to live with you. We're here for him to start having contact with you and having contact with his child. Do you understand?
Yes.
So there's not to be any living together as yet. I'll let you know when I will allow that. All right, from all of this, was Child Protective Services involved?
No, ma'am.
All right, is there anything else?
I would like to give you paperwork from my completion of lifetime,
Okay.
and it's for you to keep on record.
Oh, thank you so much.
Judge, I just want to point out that Mr. Gibson completed successfully status. He,
Congratulations.
the lifetime recovery, and are you currently at the Oxford House?
Yes, ma'am.
And-
Excalibur.
Okay. How long have you been in there?
I've been there since Monday of last week. And I also just had an interview last week, and I have another one set for this Friday.
Okay. All right. So here's the thing. What I've discovered when people are involved in sobriety and we want them to maintain their sobriety, things have to be done incrementally, right? So the first thing is you're not living with her. You can have contact, because once you start on your journey to sobriety, there's a lot of self-discovery that comes into it, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Honestly, you don't even know if this is 100% the relationship that you want, because you're just seeing things clearly now. So I will allow you to have contact with her, but you are not to live with her. You're not to spend the night with her. There's to be none of that. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
And I will set up a time frame for your no harmful or injurious contact with her. What is your schedule like at your sober living home?
We do a home meeting at 5 on Sunday, and that's mainly the only thing that I have to do. I have to do 5 meetings within a week, and I have already 6, so I'm working on completing the other 4 throughout the week.
All right. So if I give you 2 days to have contact with her and contact with your daughter, what days would you want? What's best for your schedule?
I would say Thursday and Friday.
All right. Is Thursday and Friday good for you, Miss Rushing? What's your work schedule?
Thursday and Friday works perfectly fine, just because I go to school from Monday through Friday during the day. And then, I work, after school, so everything is like during the day, and then I work on the weekends. So I think Thursday and Friday would work.
All right. And what time?
Let's say the evenings, like
Yeah.
5, 6 o'clock.
5 to 6?
Yeah.
All right. So we'll start off with Thursdays through Fridays, 4:30 to 6:30 p.m. All right. And we'll do that for a month. And if there are no problems and everything works out fine, we can extend it. And then ultimately it will just be no harmful or injurious contact whenever you want to see. All right. Any other questions about anything? You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And we're off the record. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right. Could I have parties announce for the record, for the state?
That's done for the state. Cheers.
And are you Mr. Gibson?
Yes.
All right, we're here. There was a request by probation through Mr. Gibson for him to have his conditions amended to no harmful or injurious contact with Claudia Rushing in lieu of the no contact order. I've reviewed the file. She's not the complainant in this case, but the court entered the no contact order due to the nature of the offense.
And Your Honor, just to let you be aware, there was a case where she was the victim.
Okay.
I don't know if it was TIC or if it was just dismissed outright. It
Okay.
was an ag assault.
Let me see. Yes, it was NIMAG number 552093.
My JD is not working, Judge, so,
Oh, yes, I know JD.
but I believe that's correct. I believe, because I did happen to know that that case was dismissed for whatever reason.
All right, and probation, do you have a report for the court?
Judge, Since the last compliance hearing, back in April, he's been visiting with, Claudia Rushing and the children as you directed. There has not been any kind of issues, or anything with those visits. The CSO assigned to Mr. Gibson did speak with Ms. Rushing, who reports no issues. And she states that she and the children hope that he can return to home. He's completed lifetime. He was residing at the Oxford House, but he couldn't afford to continue living there. So right now he moved in with his brother-in-law, with his brother-in-law. But there is some other issues to, there are requests for him to be able to move back in to help with the children, and to get the family back together. He continues with his weekly sober support meetings and aftercare treatment. The probation officer doesn't seem to have any issues or qualms about him residing back with Miss Rushing. And I've asked her to join the Zoom meeting today. Judge, I did forward you a court summary so you can kind of overall look at the case in your email.
All right. And I do see in the court summary, and I'll give you this part.
So Judge, we are asking for you to lift the contact restrictions and allow Mr. Gibson to reside with Ms. Rushing and to continue with a no harmful or injurious contact order.
Okay. All right, you want to raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do
All right, you can lower your hand. How many days sobriety do you have?
have 7 months and I think 3 weeks.
All right, so how often are you doing AA or NA meetings?
I've tried to get 3 to 5 meetings in a week, and then I'm doing my, as needed with outpatient from my time.
All right, and are you employed?
I'm currently not. I'm doing staffing through People Ready, and I'm currently actually have an interview today with Wash Tub on as well.
All right, and what time is your interview?
He said just come by at any time before 6.
All right, and how old are your children?
My daughter is a year. The oldest boy is 11, and the other one is 9.
All right, so you say your daughter is a year. So the other 2 children, are you their stepfather or biological?
Yes, I'm stuck.
All right. It always perks up my ears when people sort of seem as though they're putting more favoritism on their child when they're a stepfather.
I'm definitely not.
All right,
They're all equal to me.
okay. All right, any other questions?
No.
All right, so I'm going to call Ms. Rushing in. All right, could you unmute, please?
Hi, hello.
Hello, could you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you
Yes,
solemnly
ma'am.
affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
You can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
My name is Claudia Rushing.
All right, any questions?
Ma'am, in this particular case, would you want Austin to move in with you?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that again?
Would you like Austin to move back in with you?
Yes.
And back when this happened, there was a case of aggravated assault where you were named the victim, is that correct?
Yes.
And you chose not to press charges.
Yes.
And can you tell us briefly what happened that day?
So Austin came to the house and he was under the influence of drugs. I'm assuming he looked kind of out of it. he got upset because he wanted his money. He had $200 in the bank and he wanted that money. And I told him, that that money was for bills, that we were not going to touch that money. And he got, I guess, he got agitated maybe because of the fact that I didn't want to give him the money. And so he grabbed
We have,
a knife from the kitchen and, was telling me to give him his money back. And then I just told him, hey, I'm going to call the police. Like, if you don't leave, I'm going to call them. And then he just put the knife on the table and then he left.
Okay. And were the children present at that time?
So both my older kids, they were sleeping. This happened around, what was it, like 5 in the morning, 5:30-ish in the morning. So the boys were sleeping. The only one that was up or was woken up was my daughter. Well, our daughter, mine and his.
Okay. And so when Austin was on drugs, did he have violent tendencies?
Um, I mean, apart from him like pinning me against the wall and then, then with the incident that happened, outside the house, as not really. I mean, he never hit me. I mean, he didn't hit me. He didn't like put his hands on me apart from like what I told you. That's all he did.
Okay.
And I did tell the police that day, that I think that Austin shouldn't, be in jail. He should get help, like be in rehab or something, because of his relapse. And so I did tell them that I didn't want to press charges on him. I just wanted him to get help because, I care for him. We have a kid together. I want my child to have her dad, And so what I honestly think it's just he needs to continue to do what he's doing right now so that he can stay sober, and get help. That's all.
Okay, well, that was my next question. Since that date and since he's gotten help, has he ever done drugs that you're aware of?
No.
And if he does do drugs, would you call the police and inform the police or the probation officer about that?
Yes. I think, what's important is that he stays sober. And so I will do what I need to do so that he can stay that way. Get him help, tell the probation officer, tell him like, hey, you need to tell your sponsor, tell somebody, push him to get help.
And do you know who his probation officer is?
Sarah Davies.
So you have her number.
I have her number. I have her email. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. No further questions, John.
all right. Miss Rushing,
Yes, ma'am.
since he's been allowed to have contact with you, what is a normal activity that you all do together or do with the children?
We've gone to the mall to go, eat and just eat, walk around. We took family pictures on the what was it, on the 17th. We took some family pictures and we have gone to the park, we've drove around. He's had good contact with the kids. It does get a little bit depressing, at the end of the visit because the children will say and ask like, oh, when is daddy coming home? Or why does daddy have to leave? So that is always, like the downside of the visitations,
All right. And do you have any fear of him?
No,
Do you have any fear of him being around your children?
no.
All right. So here's the thing in this court to be successful at probation. And I think people are aware, and I know the state does this as well, and so does probation. We want people to be successful on probation. Otherwise, the state would not have requested that they be on probation. and I would not have agreed for them to be on probation. So with sobriety, you cannot slack with it. You have to be vigilant about it, because if there's a slip up, then it's going to lead to other things. He's on probation. He's not allowed to drink alcohol at all. So if there's an event, and I know we have the 4th coming up and other holidays, Juneteenth coming up, he is not to backslide. You're not to backslide, drink alcohol, because then that just downward spiral. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am. I actually don't drink and he knows that, so that shouldn't be a problem.
All right. So this is what the court will do then. State, do you have any objections to lifting the order of him not being allowed to live there?
No.
All right. So I'm going to alter them in conditions. We're going to do the UA hotline for 60 days. You're telling the court that you do NA or AA meetings 5 times per week?
3 to 5, as
Okay.
many as I can get to.
So I'm going to require NA or AA meetings 3 times per week at a minimum, because that appears that's what's we're working for you. And I'll lift the no contact order. And defendant, you're allowed to live with Miss Rushing if she wants you there.
I do have a question. Am I able to get like documentation that I'm here today? Because I do have a meeting with Lifetime this morning, and I don't want.
Oh, yes.
I don't want to be.
Yes,
Unaccounted.
let them know that you're going to be late, but you're on your way.
Okay. Yes.
All right. Is there anything else?
State your honor.
Miss Rushing, is there anything else that you need from the court that you think would be beneficial to Mr. Gibson?
No, I think you guys have done everything. And like I said, I will make sure that he stays on tracks with his meetings, his medications, whatever help he needs from me, support that he needs from me, I will be here.
All right.
And so
is
I
there
thank you guys for everything.
Oh, thank you so much. And thank you for coming in by Zoom.
Yes.
Is there anything else you need from the court?
No, ma'am. That's it.
All right. So we're off the record. So, if you need something, you need to let us know.
Yes, ma'am.
And you're the first person I've had before me who has 4 first names.
I know. Everybody tells me that.
All right. Have a great day. Okay. Thank you, Miss
Thank you.
Rushing.
Thank you. Have-